In this video we're checking out these, the brand new Hoka Carbon X2. What's up everyone and welcome back to FORDY RUNS. How you doing? Let me know in the comments and why you've done it. Are you a Hoka fan? Do you own a pair of Hokas? If you do, which ones? Let me know in the comments. Or maybe you've even grabbed already a pair of these. Let me know what you think. Or maybe you've got the OG, number one, SPE. Let me know in the comments, how did you get on with them? Any feedback, share it down in the comments. I'd be very interested to know, and I'll check it out once the video's dropped. Right, so we've got version 2 of the Carbon X. Is it any good? Well, in this video we're going to find out, so let's get stuck in. Right guys, so the version 2 of the Hoka Carbon X. Now if you follow me on Instagram, at FORDY_runs, you'll know that I'm being sort of on the fence-ish why I've been trying out these shoes. A lot of you guys have been asking me, what do I think, Fordy? What do you think? What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And I said to the people who have asked me that I'm still a bit undecided. Well, I finally come to a conclusion, and at the end of the video I'll let you know exactly what I think. But before we get into that, we've got to do the stats and features, so let's get to it. Right, so first, price. Are you ready? Sit down for this one. It's £160. Ouch. I know, it's a lot of money, isn't it, for a running shoe? As you know, 40 rounds, we love shoes that are under £100, but yeah, £160, people. Now, this shoe's got a 5mm drop. It weighs under 10 ounces. I think it is exactly, actually we'll do it in grams, 239 grams. I'll put up on the screen what that is in ounces. 5mm drop. Pro-Fly midsole. We've got a rubberized EVA on the bottom. There's 2 layers to the midsole. I'll show you that in a second. And that rubberized EVA is what forms the outsole. We've got the anatomical Achilles, where's my notes? I'll tell you what it, Achilles constructions. I'll show you what that is. That's basically the shark fin, but I'll show you in a sec. We've got obviously a carbon plate running through it, engineered mesh upper, gusseted tongue, which helps provide that midfoot lockdown. And that's probably about it. Okay, right, firstly, so here's the sort of Pro-Fly, and then you've got this rubberized, see this 2-layer here? I don't know whether that's coming out on the camera. It would have come out when you had the microwave bit. But what they've done with this shoe versus version 1 is they've lowered the carbon plate. So the carbon plate sits a lot lower in it, and then what that means is you get the much more midsole compound between you and the carbon plate, which actually really helps on those easier runs, and I'll get into that a little bit later on. Yeah, so the rubberized EVA foam on the bottom layer makes the outsole, which is here. I would say straight away that this is designed for roads. I would not wear these down the toe pass because I don't think you'd get a hell of a lot of grip, but they are perfect for roads. And over here in the UK, I don't know what it's like elsewhere in the world, let me know in the comments, but it has been raining, I think, for like the last 3 months. It's just wet everywhere, and these have been great on the roads, in the wet, no problem at all in terms of grip. There's always that question mark with Hoka, and in terms of durability, obviously we'll have to come back and let you know how that gets on. I did a video, when was it? Can't even remember, but I showed you an old pair of Clifton 5s that I had, which were still holding up. So people question the durability of Hokas, and particularly on the Bondi, and we'll have to come back. But obviously they're not as good as some of the other shoes in terms of durability. But then again, you're not sticking loads of rubber on here, creating weight, etc, etc. Anyway, oh, there's the carbon plate. I don't know if you can see that, probably won't focus, but the carbon plate, you can see it on the bottom of the midsole. Now, what's interesting, I think also, is obviously you've got this cow hoof looking thing at the back here. This is all about adding stability at the rear of the shoe, creating that heel to toe transition, because obviously it's a Hoka, so it's got that rocker going through it. It borrows a lot of it over from the edge, which has got that sort of stuck out bit at the back, which again is there to help you going down heels, but it's definitely there to add stability at the rear of the shoe, which actually, and I'll come on to it, but I do find this shoe is quite a stable ride. What's really interesting though, look at this. See where I've had almost zero contact on the back. So you could actually cut that off and save some weight. Do you see that? Now, that may be my bad running form. Let me know in the comments, is that because I'm a bad runner and I'm not doing this? I don't know, but I seem to be running like that in these, based on the wear from what I'm getting. And it's wearing noticeably a little bit here already. But yeah, look, there's almost no contact to the back. So could I actually cut that off and save weight? If you look at the Brooks Hyperion version 2, it's very much like cut like that with a bevel. Interesting though. The upper, breathable, definitely an improvement over the first version. Gusseted tongue is welcomed. Here's the shark fin, so very much like the Clifton 7, pulled away from that Achilles, so it doesn't impact your Achilles, the back of your foot at all. You don't feel it. It's quite nice because it doesn't have a pull tab. You can use that to get them on, get them off. In terms of fit, this is just a bit of a pre-warning. UK 9.5 for me, as always, fits true to size. But what I would say, the first 2 or 3 times I ran in them, they felt tight, and I could see that my sort of foot was hanging over the edge like that. But the more I've run in them, they've bedded in. It just took a little while to get into it. So just a bit of a warning for you. If you get in them and think, Jesus, that's narrow, just bear with it. It will come to you. Obviously, if you've got a really wide foot, then you might have a problem. But it's definitely wider than the first version. The other version I had, my foot felt like it was like that in it. I don't feel like it in here. I'll just say to you, bear in mind that it will give a little bit. The ProFly is carried over from the Rocket X. Now, if you've not seen my video on the Rocket X, that is a great shoe, fun shoe. It's like a maniac. It's the sort of thing that you want, 5K, 10K, just to go out and run really, really fast. It's not something for me that I would use for a marathon. It's just not, for me, suitable, but it is a quick shoe, a lot of fun. And I think the two of these actually complement each other very well. They've taken over the sort of softer, racier feeling ProFly into this shoe, combined with, say, with the lower plate. And it's definitely more of a, yeah, a springier ride. It is noticeable versus the first version. But I think this shoe, like I say, it complements the Rocket X because this is a more training and competition shoe. I think this sits alongside the Speed in terms of where it sits in your rotation. You know, this is good for those sort of longer runs, where you're doing longer runs at goal pace. You can then go out and run a half marathon in these. Yeah, it's just a good sort of training shoe with a carbon plate in, so you can do elements of paced runs in it, you know, goal pace runs. And the good thing about this, like I mentioned it earlier, you can ease off on this, and with the stable platform of the heel and the sort of Hoka mass amount of midsole, it does give you a nice stable platform in those sort of easier runs. So, you know, some of these sort of not hyper shoes, but these carbon plated shoes, Adizero Pro, for example, at the lower speeds, they can, you know, be a little bit uncomfortable, cumbersome, hard and all that sort of stuff, because they are still stiff, right? So it can be a problem. But for this shoe, a compliment for it is the fact that those easier miles, it can do them. And, you know, I will do a video comparing it against the Speed, but the two are very similar in terms of what they do. You can sort of do quite a lot in both and still pick it up and cover long distances with them, and at pace as well. So it's definitely a match for the Saucony Speed, but you have to wait for the video to find out which one I prefer. So yeah, I think it's It's definitely, if you're a Hoka fan, you're going to dig it. It's definitely an improvement over the first version and the SPE for sure. As I said, it's definitely for me a stable platform. I'm really digging the ProFly midsole, which is favourable from the Rocket X. The fit is something to think about, but yeah, I think it offers a very good alternative to the Saucony Endorphin Speed. The only problem I have with this shoe really is the price. £160. Yes, that's £155. £160 is still a lot of money for a shoe. Is it better than the Fuel Cell TC, which is another training competition shoe? Yes, for me it is, because I don't find I'm collapsing in. The compound's definitely not as soft, and the mix with the lower sort of plate at the bottom, it definitely gives a nicer sort of feeling for me. But yeah, it is a good shoe. It's a good training shoe. I don't think there's anything really negative to say about it other than the price. But you know what I'm going to say anyway, even though I'm going to do the video, I still think you should buy the Saucony Endorphin Speed. Out of the two, I think you should just buy the Speed, people. If you're a Hoka fan, you're going to love it. But yeah, I think anybody else who's thinking about this, just buy the Endorphin Speed.